Hello guys, welcome back to Kolbenkraft. Today we are going to talk about one of the most important topics in automobile technology. We know that the stick and slip phenomenon that occurs between the tire surface and the road surface is quite important, and today we are going to talk something regarding that. There is this coefficient of friction that is between the tire surface and the road surface, yes, of course, and because of that principle our vehicles run, and we also know that there is some slip occurring between that. Now this slip occurs mainly when we apply the brakes. Naturally this slip is going to occur because as we know that the velocity of the car and the velocity of the tires is not same. It can be same, but we will not go on that topic. That's a completely different topic. Today we'll be talking just about the slip that occurs when we apply brakes, or when we accelerate a vehicle. So here I have a graph that is the coefficient of friction between the tire and the road surface against the brake slip in percentage. As you can see that the coefficient of friction, as we increase the coefficient of friction, the slip will increase slowly, and this is like 1.2. This is the maximum coefficient of friction that is possible, and beyond that it's not. Like, this is just an imaginary line to make us understand the relationship between the coefficient of friction and the brake slip. At 100% slip, we can see that the coefficient of friction is about like zero point 0.9 or something. But here, just to make you understand, the graph explains that how the brake slip occurs with the different coefficient of friction that is present between the tires and the road surface. Now, to calculate this, we have this formula over here that the brake slip in percentage is the car velocity minus the tire velocity divided by the car velocity. Now the car velocity is quite simple. We know it's in kilometer per hour. But talking about the tire velocity, it's not. We know that tire velocity can be v equals to omega r, or simply say, in other words, we can say that the circumference. Let's say it is denoted by u, the circumference into uh, 1 divided by t, that is the time taken. But to make things simple, we'll just consider this formula, because we'll be considering the radius of the tire plays an important role over here. When we talk about the radius of a tire, you might be thinking that that's quite simple. The simple radius that we have on tire, we can easily measure it. Well, in actual case, we have three radii of a tire. One which is, as you can see, that is the original radius, that we can denote it by r0. The second is the static radius, that is when the vehicle is standing, when the tire is not in motion. The patch over here is not a circle but a flat surface, as you can see over here. So we can consider this as the radius of the tire in static condition. And the main radius which we need to take into consideration, that is the dynamic radius, that is when the vehicle is rolling, that at that time the radius of the tire is different. So the relation, as I have shown over here, is the radius of the tire in static condition is the maximum. The r dynamic, which we will be consider in our calculation, stays in the middle, and the lowest is the static radius. And yeah, again, if we need to measure the circumference, we'll always consider u is the circumference, 2 pi r, and the here will be the dynamic one. The dynamic radius will be considered for calculating the anything regarding the radius, which includes the radius of the tire, we will be considering the dynamic radius. So going back to our equation, where the velocity, which we were considering the velocity of the tire, we wrote the formula as omega r. So here the value of r will be the dynamic. So this will be the radius which we will be considering in calculating the velocity of the tire. So like our formula says, the value of slip will be velocity of the car minus velocity of the tire divided by the velocity of the car. So this explains the relation between this explains why slip is important, what is its relationship with the coefficient of friction between the tire surface and the road surface, and most importantly, which radius we need to consider when we talk about the tires, when we talk about the circumference of the tire. So this was it for the video. If you have any doubts regarding this topic or any other topics, feel free to leave it down in the comment section, and I'll see you guys in the next video.